There we go. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Jenna Wood, and I am one of the dietitians here with the Giant Company. Today, Monday, we have our meal solutions class, and it's been very hot, as I'm sure you have noticed. So, our theme throughout July has been no cook meals, things that you can throw together without hopefully having to turn on the stove, the oven, anything that heats you up even just a little bit. So, today I will be diving into summer rolls and the variations you can make on these. Before we do that, I personally kind of wanted to learn a little bit about the difference between spring rolls, summer rolls, egg rolls. Many of you probably already know, but I just wanted to make sure that we kind of all were on the same page. Now, the internet, as it is, there were websites that were a little different in their definitions and what they claim to be one or the other, but from the general consensus I found, a summer roll, which is what we're making today, they're going to be fresh, light, and uncooked, typically using a spring roll wrapper, which is, I think, where a lot of the confusion can come from. But we're not going to cook those spring roll wrappers. We're just going to dip them in the warm water, roll up our wraps, and then serve them. Spring rolls, however, they're typically going to be vegetarian filled, which is important in terms of allergies. However, I would make sure you always ask because you never know. Again, the definitions can be kind of blurred. So, a spring roll is often going to be filled with sauteed veggies like cabbage and carrots, and it's going to be in that spring roll wrapper that you would have used for the summer rolls, but typically they're going to be fried or sauteed in some way that they become kind of crispy on the outside. Then we have the egg roll wrappers, which, unlike the name would suggest, they typically do not have egg in the wrapper itself. But you'll normally see these, they're going to be fried and thicker because you'll see Taste of Inspirations is our brand. They are vegan, meaning they do not have any egg or other animal products in them. They're going to be thicker, crunchier, typically made from flour, and they're very Americanized. You might not see them in many traditional restaurants. Now, in terms of the summer rolls, and I'll show you the ones I'm using today, like the Blue Dragon, they're going to be predominantly rice. A lot of brands have started to add tapioca flour as well because that makes the rolls just a little bit stronger because rice paper tends to be quite delicate, which it's going to be good as we learn how to roll them. So how should we use spring roll wrappers to make either spring or summer rolls? And these look very similar to what we're going to make today. Now you want to prepare all of your fillings, and after I turn off the slides, I will show you what I did to mine. You want to make them very thin and not sharp as to not poke through the paper because again, it's going to be quite delicate. You're going to fill a shallow dish with warm water. Something like a pie plate or a wide bowl will work just fine. There's different recommendations on how long to dip the rice paper, and I'll show you what I have gleaned from watching a lot of videos and just from making a bunch, what probably works best. You're going to dip that rice paper wrapper. Now, so this one says, and the package I believe also says, submerge the whole thing for a few seconds. You can do that. However, I've seen a lot where if the bowl's not quite big enough or you choose not to use a huge bowl, you kind of like turn it slightly in the water, and I will show you that as well. Because the wrapper will continue to soften as you work, so you don't want it to be too soft, and not super easy to roll as you get towards the rolling process. You're going to place it on a damp surface, whether it be a damp towel, plate, cutting board. I'm using a cutting board today with just a little water on the surface. You'll add whatever fillings. Some will say to add the fillings in the middle, but I will show you how to roll it from the bottom third, and you can kind of have some pretty variations using that method. You're going to roll it like a burrito, which I'll show you all those steps as well. You'll start rolling from the bottom, fold in those sides, and tightly roll to the end. Fortunately, with these wrappers, they are going to be a little bit sticky. So unlike a burrito, they're going to kind of hold onto itself nicely. And then you want to serve fairly immediately. If you're not going to serve it immediately, you do want to put like a wet paper towel or a tea towel or something over top of the ones you've already made while you're still rolling to keep them nice and soft. And do not overfill them. I do this with burritos and other things as well. You don't want to overfill them. tons of different options and things you can use to fill these spring or summer rolls. Vietnamese spring rolls or goi hoon often contain pork, shrimp. I love rice vermicelli noodles or just rice noodles, herbs and vegetables, whatever you want. These are your rolls. You can fill them with whatever you'd like. Proteins, again, often include things like pork and shrimp, but tofu is very common, chicken, edamame, fish. Uh, Herbs are typically always used in these. So whether it be cilantro tends to be a big one, Thai basil, regular basil, or mint, but really sky's the limit how much you would like to add to yours. I love cilantro, so that's what I'm using today. Veggies and different types of fruits. Again, whatever you prefer, whatever you like, peppers and cucumbers, lettuce, uh, finely cut carrots, shredded cabbage or coleslaw mix. You know, the type you do want to be very careful that it's not too sharp. Avocado would be fantastic. Mushrooms, mango is what I'm using today. And then dips. You want something to dip it in. You can also put sauces and spreads on the inside too. Things like sweet chili, peanut sauce, hoisin sauce, or sauces made from that, soy sauces, various things you can use. And again, those vermicelli rice noodles on the inside are perfect. I love that texture in there too. And it kind of just bulks it up a tad. Today's we are making, and mine don't look this pretty, so if yours don't, that's okay too. But we are making mango and shrimp summer rolls. And there's also going to be some changes I will share too. So for this, I know this is a lot. We always share the recipe in the slides. I did already slice up my mango and my bell pepper. It calls for red. You could do whatever color you like. I think red, yellow, orange would be better than green for something like this because they tend to be a little bit softer. Then we're going to make a sauce using reduced fat mayo, sriracha chili sauce, and a little bit of reduced sodium soy sauce. I did already mix that together, but I'll show you what I used. We, of course, need the spring roll wrappers, some cilantro basil. I'm not a huge basil fan, so I'm not adding them to mine. If you love a lot of basil, do that instead of cilantro or both. You could do whatever you like. Then we're going to do your shellfish seafood of choice. I'm allergic to shrimp, but I really loved the idea of this recipe, so I'm going to show you what I'm using instead. But shrimp look so beautiful in these, and I'll show you where to place the shrimp so that you get that kind of eye-popping, you see the shrimp right on the outside. And then we're going to dip them in some sweet chili dipping sauce. I think I have a couple more slides I do want to share. So this is what I'm using instead. Certainly you could use pre-cooked shrimp because the idea is we want it to be so simple and no cooking involved. So you can buy any of our, already cooked shrimp and defrost them. I will be using our Simply Surimi, which is a shellfish-free like crab stick alternative. Because a lot of imitation crab, like crab sticks you'll see in sushi and other recipes, still have types of crab, just not like, really nice blue crab. So if you are serving to someone who has a shellfish allergy, I won't claim these are completely safe. My sister and I are very allergic to shellfish, shrimp, crab, lobster, and we can eat these safely. I did reach out to the company years ago, and they don't have a no shellfish claim, but we eat them safely. So I will just put that out there. I will be serving, so hopefully you've joined us all month learning about sliced soda. It's been so fun, all of the different citrusy flavors. I think I picked lime to go with this because I think lime just goes so well with all the flavors we're doing. But make sure you tune back into any of the classes if you missed them. But as a recap, sliced soda is going to be that, a healthier soda alternative that has their gutsy blend. So it has pre and pro and postbiotics, all that kind of work synergistically to help with gut health. Because you want the probiotics because that's the actual bacteria. You want the prebiotics because that's what feed those bacteria. And then the postbiotics, our bodies do create some from that interaction, but the sliced soda also has some in there as well. They're all naturally sweetened with real fruit juice, stevia, and organic cane sugar, and they all contain either 5 or fewer grams of sugar per can. Again, coming from that fruit juice and cane sugar, there's going to be no high fructose corn syrup or artificial sweeteners in there. I just think, again, you're looking for something really refreshing, maybe something to enjoy that's not super caloric or sweet. This is a great option, and I think is going to pair really well with our summer rolls. We don't have that many summer roll recipes. I think there were literally three on our website. But again, the sky's the limit with what you could fill it with. I do recommend trying this one or the California summer rolls first. And I believe this one has rotisserie chicken in there and then a vegetarian option. So whatever you want to fill them with, it's gonna work. All right, so I'll come back to the classes we're teaching later, but let me make sure I'm going to spotlight my other camera here. So I've got my station kind of all set up. I will show you the sauce that I'm using. If you've ever kind of made like a sriracha mayo sauce or had it out, it is so easy to make and it's so delicious. So I did just a little, I think it was 2 tablespoons of a light mayo. If you're making a huge batch of these, you can make more, you can make less, whatever you need. Excuse, excuse me. Oh, I ate one of the rolls already, just so you know, and it was delicious. So I have a little bit of the sriracha hot chili sauce. This is our Nature's Promise organic brand, which I didn't realize we had until I found this recipe. So a really great option here. So that was 2 teaspoons in there. And then I believe it was just 1 teaspoon of our reduced sodium soy sauce. But this is your sauce. You can make it whatever you want. I will say you want it to be a little bit on the thicker side, so it spreads and doesn't just kind of, I don't know, mine was a little thin, so I actually added a little bit more mayo back to it. So you just want to play it by ear to get the consistency you want. Then I'll show you all of the things that I sliced up. So I did already slice up our bell pepper. I made them quite small. You can get away with making them much bigger. The picture, especially for the mango, the picture, like they were really big pieces. You just want them cut kind of on the thin side. So when you roll them, they don't kind of, I don't know, mango's pretty soft. So I bought this mango, I think on Friday. So I wanted it to be nice and ripe for our rolls. And that is a regular mango, but I did also pick up one of the honey mangoes. El Tufo, there's a couple different names for them. I love these. Either would work. They are always on sale, one or the other, in that one deal that you always find in the circular. So either of them would work great. Then, as I mentioned, I'm not a big basil fan, but I love cilantro. So I have a big handful of cilantro. I'll basically do double the amount of cilantro to make up for the basil in mine. And then here we have the surimi, which is really just made from, I will show you. Uh, it is in near the seafood department in my store, kind of where you'll find the other crab, imitation crabs, but also, at least in my store, it's near the smoked salmon and all of those things. If you don't see it, you can always ask your seafood manager. Our stores do sell it if you are looking for it. This is the flake style, so you can kind of see there's like big flakes of it, and it is predominantly made with Alaskan pollock and no crab, which again is something I look for. And I just think these are so delicious. And the ingredients are quite simple. And you can see they're kind of on the pinky side, and they are colored with lycopene from tomatoes, which I think is so cool. So I really like it. It's got what I remember shrimp and crab tasting like, that kind of sweet tang to it a little bit. Okay, I think those are all of the ingredients. I will also show you just the sweet chili sauce I'm using. This is a sugar-free version. We carry so many others that are not. It's up to you what one you want to use. I've used both of these in the past. I've used other brands. They're all really delicious. Some are more spicy than others. This one has 15 grams of added sugar per 2 tablespoons, and it's 70 calories, 400 milligrams of sodium. The G. Hughes sugar-free one is only 5 calories per 2 tablespoons, 250 milligrams of sodium. So it's also, lower in sodium and no added sugar as well. So it does have sucralose, I believe, as the sweetener, but no other sweeteners in there. So I love this one, but it has a kick to it. Then finally, before we get rolling, I am going to show you, these are the spring roll wrappers we carry kind of in the international Asian section of your store. Always look in your app if you can't find things. Mine, in all of the stores I shop in, it's always on the bottom shelf. So make sure you look for it. It'll be the nori, near the nori and other like sushi ingredients or sushi ingredients. These are not sushi ingredients, but so these are the ones I am using. And Again, the ingredients here are rice flour, tapioca flour, water, and salt. So very, very simple. And they kind of show you how to use them as well. So we are going to get rolling. I am going to put on gloves mostly just to protect my hands because they do get a little sticky. And I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. So here on my table, you can kind of see I have my bowl of warm water. It's still on the warm side, good. It doesn't have to be boiling. It just wants to be almost slightly, tap room water temperature. Then I have the sauce, and I do have my like fillings. I'll move my slice. We'll get pouring to serve. And then our veggies and fruit. So I think this is just so fun, such a really cool way. One, kids really can help make these, but you got protein, you have a vegetable, a fruit, and they're just so delicious. So this is what the rice, look how cute it is. The little rice paper circle. It is quite delicate, so you want to be careful when you are working with it. So I'm going to just take it and kind of dip part of it into the water like so, and just slowly work your way around till all of the sides are coated. Come on, get in there. Because again, it's going to keep softening as we roll. So it doesn't have to be super soft as you put it down. Now, it almost disappears on the cutting board, so I can see it there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put down a little bit of our cilantro. Again, kind of near the bottom third is what I'm going to work with. I love cilantro. So cilantro down. Then I'm going to do a couple of the red bell peppers, a piece or two of the mango. Perfect. I'm going to drizzle on about a teaspoon of the sauce. You could do more, but we're also going to dip them in a sauce. So then I'm going to pick up the sides. You can already start to feel it softening more. I'm going to turn it over once like that. It's okay. It's not going to be super beautiful. Then, so if you're doing shrimp, this is where you would do the shrimp, or I'm going to do the imitation. So I'm going to put them kind of right here. And remember, I rolled just a little bit, but we want to really see the seafood that you're using or whatever protein you're using. Okay, beautiful. So you can kind of see them right there after the slightly rolled portion. Then we're going to roll all the way. I'm going to fold in the sides a little and just start rolling. And it kind of just starts to stick to itself. It's not as pretty as shrimp would be, but it is still super delicious. All right, I'm going to put it then. So I do have a wet paper towel. People are laughing at me. I think it's cute. I do have the wet paper towel that I had one sitting under, and I'm just going to go just like that. This one was definitely better. He's kind of a little bit more structurally sound. I don't know. To me, it's going to be kind of like your first pancake. They're never beautiful either. You'll get the hang of rolling it. I'm going to roll another one. I think the serving size was like 2. That's not going to cut it for me. So I will probably eat more than 2. I already ate one. It really depends on how much filling you add to it as well. Okay. And then we just do it all over again. You really don't have to go in a particular order. It's really kind of what works for you. So bottom third here. Some bell peppers. I might fill it a little bit more. I think I can get away with more filling. You kind of just start to suss out how much you can fill and want to put in there. I love cilantro. It smells so good. So fresh. Because again, we're looking for a fresh, summery recipe that we don't have to cook. And this would be great for lunch or dinner. Oh, my glasses keep falling down. A little bit of that sauce. A little more. And you could use this sauce as a dip too if you don't want to put it on the inside. Pick up. See, it's already starting to get nice and soft. And you don't have to do this like part roll part, but I like to. Okay. Put the fish. I really like this. But good. Okay. Roll. Roll in the sides. You just want to kind of fold it nice and tight. Again, I'm not the best at these, but they still taste really darn good. So it doesn't matter how beautiful they are. They're still going to taste really good. Again, it's not super pretty, but it's holding its shape, and that's what's important. Okay. I I think those are enough. I don't need anyone else making fun of me. So I'm gonna take off my gloves really quickly. I'm gonna serve up my slice. I'm gonna move this out of the way because I've got more to roll. I'm gonna open up. I am doing the lemon lime. I think that would go well, but I think grapefruit. Honestly, grapefruit and the lemon lime I think would go really well with this. The orange probably would too, but I think out of all of the flavors, these two would be best. Like it's nice and clear. Okay, so let me just show you. So I do already have the sweet chili sauce here in the bowl. And then I'm gonna grab two of my rolls. Yeah, so you can kind of see the fish in there. Beautiful. Well, there you go. That came together very quickly. Honestly, it took more time to chop all the veggies and the fruit than it does to roll them all together. But I hope you are encouraged to try a little bit of a non-cook inspired recipe for these hot summer days. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to give them a try. Well, I did already try them.